Massimo Rivola made a promise this week that he cannot keep. He looked into a camera and told the MotoGP paddock that Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi would get identical equipment for the rest of 2026. Same bikes, same parts, same treatment, no matter who is leaving and who is staying. It sounded clean, it sounded professional. It sounded like the kind of thing a team principal says when he wants the noise to go away. There is only one problem. Aprilia's own calendar already makes it impossible. So why did Rivola say it? And what is he actually trying to hide? This is not a quiet news cycle for Aprilia. Bezzecchi leads the championship by 15 points. Martin is the only rider with a realistic shot at catching him. And the two of them are not just fighting for the 2026 title. They are fighting it as a re-signed factory rider and a man already heading to Yamaha. That gap alone would put any team in an impossible position. But Aprilia is doing something most factories never have to do. They are running a title campaign for a rider who is already half gone, on a bike they signed him to lead, in front of a paddock that already knows the ending. And the cracks are starting to show. Start with what Rivola actually said. Speaking to Mundo Deportivo, he was asked directly whether Martin's likely departure would change anything inside the garage. His answer was unusually firm. Not at all. Same equipment, absolutely. 4 identical bikes. Each rider gets the chassis they prefer, the parts they prefer, the treatment any factory rider would expect. The important thing, he added, is that the Aprilia wins. It is the cleanest answer he could have given. It is also the answer he was always going to give. Because the alternative, admitting that a departing rider gets a different deal, would have been a public relations disaster 6 months from a possible title. So far, so corporate. Plenty of team principals say things like this. The difference is that most of them are not contradicted by their own factory within the same week. Here is where the story starts to move. On June 22nd, the Monday after the Czech Grand Prix at Brno, MotoGP holds its first official 850cc test for full-time riders. It is the first time the 2027 prototypes will be tried by anyone other than test riders. It is also the most sensitive testing day of the entire season, because what each rider learns about the new bikes will shape every conversation they have with engineers from June onward. Only one Aprilia rider will be there. Bezzecchi. Martin will not. Not because of injury, not because of scheduling, because Aprilia will not let him near the 2027 bike. Multiple reports, motorsport.com, Course de Moto, Talking Points, name him explicitly as one of the riders barred from both the Brno test in June and the Spielberg test in September. Only riders who have committed to their current manufacturer for 2027 will be allowed on the new prototypes. That is the rule. Bezzecchi qualifies. Martin does not. The reason is the same one every paddock insider already knows. He is going to Yamaha. Whatever he learns at Brno walks straight through the door with him. So Aprilia is doing what any rational manufacturer would do. They are locking him out of the most important development day of the year. And there is one more part of this. The lockout is not the story. The lockout is the proof. Because the moment you accept that Aprilia will not let Martin test the 2027 bike, you have to ask the harder question. What else will they not let him do? Equipment is the smallest lever a factory pulls in a title fight. It is the most visible one. Easy to count, easy to compare, easy to put on camera. But it is not where championships are won. Championships are won in tyre allocation choices. They are won in pit wall calls during sprints. They are won in which rider gets the first run of a new aero package and which rider gets it 3 weekends later. They are won in which engineer stays late on a Saturday night. They are won in the data each rider sees and the data each rider does not. None of that was promised. None of that can be promised. And every one of those decisions, from now until November, will be made by people who know Bezzecchi has signed through 2028 and Martin walks at the end of November. Rivola has already said the rest of what matters. He told Sky Italy that both riders are free to race until the math eliminates one of them. He told Gazzetta dello Sport that if one is mathematically out, the other gets help. He said at Le Mans the simple rule, is that the two riders must respect each other. That is the exact language a team principal uses when he wants a no one rider without having to name one. The respect each other line is not a rule. It is a preemptive defence. The sentence he can point to in October if Martin starts losing points to garage decisions and the press starts asking why. Every call from here to Valencia will be read through that filter. By Martin, by his crew, by everyone watching. And Martin, of all riders, will recognise the pattern. This is the second factory in 2 years that has effectively closed the door behind him while he is still inside the garage. Ducati did it to him in 2024 when they gave the official seat to Marc Marquez and pushed him into Aprilia's arms. Now Aprilia is doing a softer version of the same thing, keeping him on the bike, taking his championship points, but quietly pulling the future away one test session at a time. He has lived this story before. He knows where it goes. This was never really a story about equipment. People thought it was about whether Aprilia would hand Bezzecchi a hidden advantage in parts. It was always about something larger. It was about whether a manufacturer can run a fair title fight for a rider who has already chosen a rival brand. The answer the lockout gives is the honest one. They cannot. Not entirely. Not in the parts of the job that matter most. Rivola did not lie because he wanted to. He lied because no team principal in his position could have told the truth without setting fire to his own garage 6 months before a possible championship. That is the position Aprilia is now in. They have the fastest bike on the grid. They have 2 riders capable of winning the title. And they are about to spend 6 months pretending that the rider who is leaving will get the same shot as the rider who is staying, while everyone in the paddock, including both of those riders, knows it cannot be true. Martin will feel every small decision. He will read every garage conversation. He will count every part change, every tyre run, every minute of engineer time. And Aprilia will spend the rest of the season trying to convince him that he is wrong to count. Rivola promised something this week he was never going to deliver. The lockout proves it. The bigger lever he refuses to talk about confirms it. And the next 6 months will show whether Aprilia can hold this fragile pretense together long enough to win a title, or whether the gap between what was promised and what is actually happening blows the whole campaign apart long before Valencia, in full view of every paddock, every camera, and every rider watching it crack. Do you think Aprilia can keep this title fight clean to the end of the season? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.